The following is a presentation of Muddy River Sports.
Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? Bow to the masters. Break it down!
It's time to break it down once again. This is the Muddy River Breakdown with Shuck Daddy and D.O.B. I'm Muddy River Sports Editor Matt Shuckman. My sidekick across the table here in the Muddy Buddy Studios, Dandy Don O'Brien.
I'm trying to get used to this view. Nobody, only me and you know that we're in different spots today.
That's right. I threw you off too, didn't I?
Well, no, it's okay.
Okay. Just,
Okay.
I got to keep you on your toes. I got to make sure you're prepared to break it down.
I'm ready to go.
Good, because it's a big weekend ahead of us.
Is it the most wonderful time of the year?
It's a great time of the year. I don't know if it's the most wonderful time of the year.
What is the most wonderful time of the year for Shuck? Come on, but how come are you going to be out shooting Bambi here soon or not?
There you go, because the 2-week window around Thanksgiving, it's shotgun season for deer hunting in Illinois. Mm-hmm. You've got football playoffs going on, and you get the start of the basketball season.
See, I figured for you that might be up there for most wonderful time.
That's right there. Might be the most.
And I know you also like the March-April area because you got all the
with opening day
up.
and basketball, NCAA tournament. So that's a great time of the year too. But I don't know. It's hard to beat November.
And we're on the precipice of November.
We are, and we'll see who's still alive come shotgun season. Both football teams and deer.
Is shotgun season start next week?
No, we got a couple weeks.
Okay.
So
I got to put that on my calendar.
It's the week before Thanksgiving and the week after Thanksgiving.
By the way, I love the Shuck on the truck with you and your dad.
Thank you.
He still owes me a deer heart.
Well, we'll see what we can do this year for you.
Will he get one?
Yes, because he'll go hunting on his birthday. And he darn near gets one every single year on his birthday. I don't know what it is. But he'll go out, and he won't sit that long. He's going to be 86 this year.
He's a wily veteran. He knows how to draw
but
him in.
There's something about when he goes hunting on his birthday, it's just like, oh, okay, I'm going to give myself up because it's your birthday. Happy birthday. And they just come walking in front of him. It's just amazing. Which is great, though. Great he's still hunting. It's great he's still here and kicking and having fun.
Well, I've said this on various platforms before, and I've even written it in the pages that I used to appear in, but I root for the hunters every year.
Yeah, because you don't want to run into any with your vehicle.
Correct. Go hunters.
The
hunter.
On my way home from Mendota on Saturday, on that lovely road trip,
yes,
I had 6 in front of me on the highway at one point in time.
No way.
Yes, and there was a lot of braking at that point.
How do you get to Mendota? Do you have to take back roads?
There's a few different ways you can go. And I went a couple different ways just to see how long it would take me. Mm-hmm. And it's anywhere from about 3.5 to 4 hours. I mean, you could go the interstate and go through Springfield to Bloomington and straight up 39 because it's south of – Mendota's right on 39 south of Rockford.
Okay.
You could go through Peoria. You could go up to Galesburg and catch I-80 and shoot over to 39 and up. I mean, there's a couple different routes you can go. There's no easy way to get there.
That sounds pretty logical that Quincy Notre Dame would be in a sectional up there.
Makes total sense, doesn't it?
That's a great section of our state.
Yeah. I mean,
the Mendota-Quincy corridor.
Well, especially when you look at the way the other teams had to travel. Serena was 25 miles. Mendota was right there. Peoria Christian was an hour and 20 minutes. And then Quincy Notre Dame had a 3.5-hour trip. That sounds like a section, doesn't it?
That's yeah. Why wouldn't you? And to kind of switch gears when we're kind of on IHSA, and I guess we'll complain about them for a minute. This volleyball that I was at on Tuesday night, and I'll be getting it on Thursday night. This class, I think that there ought to be some type of trigger put into this. That if people have to drive more than, let's say, an hour and a half or 2 hours, that should trigger something that they should be able to have it all on one night.
Oh, I agree.
So it's not as big deal as the smaller schools. It's like Notre Dame's hosting a regional this weekend. It's nothing for Illini West to come down at Pittsfield, and all those teams have fed into that. West Hancock.
Nobody's more than 45 minutes away.
Correct. But when you've got Pekin coming from 2+ hours,
yep.
You've got normal community coming from 2:45-ish, maybe 3 hours in a bus.
Right.
UT coming down from 2.5 hours away. Why wouldn't you just say, okay, guess what? We're all whether you want to have it all on Tuesday night or whether you want to have it all on Thursday night. Just you play your semifinals. Winners meet later that night. to save everybody the travel.
But again, I see your point, but I also know coaches probably wouldn't like that, playing twice in one night.
But those volleyball teams are used to that, though.
Yeah, but in the postseason, everybody takes a different attitude to those things.
Well, Normal Community didn't hardly mustered up a sweat. They beat UT in like 30 minutes last night.
Well, and that tends to happen with some of those opening regional games.
And then if you're Quincy High, you're on such a great high after last night's win over Pekin. Why wouldn't you just want to roll that and say, hey, we're on a roll night now. Let's play this team.
Yeah, good point. But again, it's all about money too. You're not going to get as much gate money because you're going to get more gate money spreading it over 2 nights.
It's all about the Benjamins, baby.
It's all about the Benjamins. Now here's the
Said
other.
by who?
I don't know. One of your rappers.
Notorious B.I.G.
There you go.
R.I.P.
I'm not in the rap game like you.
You've never been in the rap
No,
game.
I never have. Outside of Nelly and Coolio.
Coolio recently
I know.
passed,
Yes. Gangster's Paradise, baby.
So you think it's all obviously it's all about the
It's-
money
it-
for them,
it
and I
is.
get that, but
Here's the other part I don't understand when it comes in, and we can break down questions and issues with the IHSA as, for an entire show if we wanted to. Notre Dame hosted the boys soccer regional.
Yes.
On turf. Went to Mendota for the sectional on turf. If they win the super sectional, they will play at East Peoria on turf. The super sectional on grass. Makes no sense to me.
and that's
Makes
why
no sense.
That's why it was canceled on Tuesday, mainly.
Yeah, because of the
it was a
weather.
grass field.
Yes. But it makes no sense.
If that had been a turf facility, would they have played?
Probably. But it makes no sense. Well, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Play on the field to get. David's right.
We don't need any background noise today because that's all that is a bunch of bluster from the background while we're sitting here taping this. Because as you and I both know, and most of our listeners probably know, David Adams is just only full of hot air.
Hey, now. I'm not going to. Uh-oh.
I had to
Here
give
it
him-
comes.
Hey, I'm just sitting here trying to get some work done, but when you throw out crap like, well, we can't play on artificial turf.
No, I'm
for
not
a
saying they
long
can't play,
time.
but why would you go turf for regionals, turf for sectionals, turf for state, and throw in a grass field in between? That makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me.
That doesn't bother me at all. Play on the dang field that they gave you. They're not gonna,
But why do you have to give them a grass field? That's the point I'm trying to make. You could play this. You could play this
Play the
all
game.
kinds of different places,
Everybody's
and it's
playing fair, it's
and it's
right.
not a very good facility to begin with.
that's true.
So
All right,
yeah,
I'm going back to work.
I just don't
What,
understand
special
some of
guest
those.
appearance?
Yeah, he's a moron. But I just don't understand some of those things. And I never will. And the IHSA never has a good explanation. Why did Quincy High play the play-in game in a 9-team regional or 9-team subsectional as the 7 seed?
That made no sense.
That made no sense. See,
Well, they got to win.
They did, but it
get
made
a
no.
postseason
But it made
that
no
way.
sense.
No.
You know, again, we could go on and on about.
And they're trying their best in Bloomington Normal.
No, they're not. Do better.
Dang. Chucky.
And I get along very well with those people over there. And
But yes, they do have some head scratching decisions.
yes.
every now and
Anyway, away from that, let's get talk football because
talk football.
we got a big weekend ahead of us when it comes to football. Let's break it down.
then. Okay, so
Five playoff games involving our area teams on the Illinois side,
Yes.
and then we got the districts starting in Missouri.
so the districts in Missouri, we don't talk about them till next week because everything outside of maybe Mark Twain Highland is going to be a
Yeah,
beat
your
down this
4 or
week.
5 games, your 4 seed versus 5 seed games in the 8-team districts are going to be pretty good.
But
Other
it's
than
not
that,
like it's Alabama against Tennessee though either.
No.
I
And
mean
then-
it's not going to be the level of football is probably not the play is not going to
no.
be great.
And then after that, it's the
good
rest of them
night.
are going to be beat downs.
Yes,
So, the districts don't heat up until next week.
yes.
Now, Illinois playoffs, we got some interesting matchups.
The most interesting of which I believe I'll be attending on Saturday night.
You will be. That would be at Skitch Memorial Field
As
as the Macomb Bombers play host to the Quincy Notre Dame Raiders in a tradition-rich matchup. It's been a while since I played, though.
So, in talking to some Q&D folks during the year, this was the matchup that they wanted. They're like, boy, if we could just get in, we would love a shot at an undefeated Macomb
Yep.
because they believe that Notre Dame has played a tougher schedule. Macomb has
Macomb, I mean, QND has played a tougher schedule.
Yes.
I don't think anybody in Macomb would deny that because the fact of the matter is the Prairie Land has not been that great this year.
that's what they're in the Prairie Land now.
Yes.
With Knoxville and
Yep.
I know.
Illini
I used to go
West,
to the
I mean,
Prairie Land back in the early 1990s.
West
for the,
Hancock, Illini
Register
West, Knoxville, Farmington, all those schools. Rova, Elmwood, Brimfield.
Rova,
Yeah.
Monroe's in that.
I don't think no.
What are they in?
I don't know.
Little Lincoln Trail, is that still around?
Yeah, maybe.
Wow, the Olympic Conference, that dead?
Yes, that's dead. That's been dead a while now. Kind of like the West Central Conference is dead.
But it's alive for other things, right?
Yes.
So okay, so you've seen Macomb play, you've seen Notre Dame play. You're the one that's seen. I've only seen Notre Dame. What do you think?
I'm impressed by Macomb. I'm impressed by their athletes.
Good quarterback, right?
Very good quarterback. Jack Duncan, going to go play baseball at Western Illinois University. Great arm. Really understands the game. Sees the game really well. So I think there's a lot of things there that play in Macomb's favor. JT Jeter, son of
Derek?
WIU basketball coach Rob Jeter.
Oh, not Derek Jeter.
No, not Derek Jeter.
Okay.
But outstanding athlete, outstanding wide receiver. Jaden Jones, another outstanding athlete, great cornerback and very good wide receiver. Langdon Allen, another outstanding option at wide receiver. I mean, Jack Duncan's got a bunch of weapons to throw to, and they do a great job of spreading the ball. And then you got Max Reiner coming out of the backfield. A state caliber wrestler who's just a dynamo running the ball, can run between the tackles, can get outside because he's got a little bit of speed. Offensively, they're really good. But what kind of defenses have they seen? I mean, I think that's the big issue is what's Notre Dame going to throw at them defensively to keep them off their game? And Notre Dame's got some really good linebackers, some talented kids in the secondary, and not bad up front. Man, but I think their linebackers, Macomb's going to see the best group of linebackers it's seen all year when it goes up against Notre Dame.
So what's you haven't even said one word about Notre Dame's offense, and Notre Dame's offense has been a work in progress the entire season.
It's been better the last couple weeks, obviously, but it's not been good all year. We've seen a lot of issues with that.
With 10 quarters without scoring a point,
Yeah.
offensively.
I think they found something with running the ball with Jackson Stratton. I think they've done a much better job of establishing the line of scrimmage. But I think, we talk about Notre Dame's linebackers. Macomb's got a really good set of linebackers led by Ethan Ladd and Max Reiner. It'll be interesting to see. Can Notre Dame win the line of scrimmage battle and be able to move the ball offensively running the ball?
I think of the bad games I've seen Notre Dame play. Have they won? They did not win the line of scrimmage battle against Quincy High School.
No.
Normal West pretty much did. I mean, they have only scored 17 points, but
Right.
Notre Dame didn't mount any kind of offensive threat that night.
Muhammad Seymour didn't amount. I mean, the good teams Notre Dame has played, they've lost the line of scrimmage.
Those are all three playoff teams.
Yes.
In higher and much larger divisions.
Yes.
Chicago Hope is another. They're number one. Ranked in there. What are they? Class 1?
I believe
Class
so.
1 or 2?
One
One
or
or
two.
two. Yeah. So this is going to be a tough test for Notre Dame.
No question.
I mean, the Notre Dame people have asked for this, but be careful what you ask for.
Well, I mean, Macomb's 9-0 for a reason. And yes, I'll quantify everything as, their schedule was not elite, but they went out and took care of business. I mean, Farmington was a good football team. They beat them 58-0. They won Friday night. It didn't play well Friday. I didn't think they played great Friday night. Macomb did against Illini West and won 46-0. And that was an Illini West team trying to get into the playoffs. They were 4-4 going into that game, so they had something to play for. Macomb's good. This is not
Home field mean anything to them?
Yes. It will.
Notre Dame would much rather have this game at their. I mean, obviously, there's no chance
Everybody
of
wants
that,
a home
but
game.
Yes.
But I think I think Macomb's home field advantage is there's people excited in Macomb about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to be a great crowd on both sides because I think Notre Dame will travel well.
I think so too. I think you're going to have how many, no matter how many people you can pack in there, it's going to be, it's going to be a fun atmosphere. I would think.
It will. I think it'll be a really good game, really competitive.
You picking a winner?
No, I'm not picking any winners on this.
You're not picking any winners. Neither. I mean, I haven't seen either play. Plus, I'll do the Herb Street since I'm covering the game. I should probably pick a winner anyway.
No, I got to write about all of them, so I don't want to upset anybody.
You don't want to get anybody. You don't want anybody to get sore at you?
No, I don't need to provide any bulletin board material for anyone.
Just a good game, worth the trip.
Very much so. I think it's gonna be outstanding, and I think it's gonna be an outstanding game on Friday night, worth the trip to Chatham.
Concession stand, real quick at Macomb. Good, bad, or ugly?
I have no idea. I don't go to the concession stand.
Come on,
Sorry, I'm there to work.
I'm there to eat.
I know you are. You and Dirt.
Yes, I'm not. I mean, he's next level.
True.
But I like. Oh, by the way, went to Langford Field a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
The pork burger on
Okay.
point.
Well, there you go.
If you ever have to go to Langford during the during their playoff run,
I will be honest. I don't eat before a game. Never, and just
okay. Well, I guess I'll have to report back to you next
you will.
week. Which is
I
Macomb.
have nothing I can give you on that.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
unless J.D. Gravina is going to have me come to a cookout to his house beforehand.
I mean, I can get hold of the Macomb athletic director and get a breakdown on what they have and give you an update.
That's all right. I'll figure it out, Chuck.
Okay. I think you can fend for yourself.
I just need to know where to go.
Dude, if you go early and hit chicks on the square.
I can do that in Quincy. You got the rule of the road.
Go
dude.
to the sports corner.
Yeah, the corner.
Yeah.
They have food there.
Yeah, there's all kinds of places you can go in downtown Macomb.
Okay. Well,
You can figure it out, big boy.
all right. Friday night.
Friday night
Blue Devils. Unreal, by the way. Before we move forward, we got to look back real quick for them.
at the unbelievable rally against Rock Island.
I mean, just unreal. Down 28-0. You called me at halftime. Actually, I texted you after the first quarter. I'm like, this ain't going. This isn't going.
No.
And then you're like, what is going on there? And I told you at halftime, I said, hey, they're not out of this.
Right. And they weren't by any means.
They weren't. Now, they were very fortunate that one of Rock Island's best running backs, Figs,
Right.
who'd just gotten off injury, hurt himself. I think it was a hip, it looked like, because he was nursing. So they took him out. He had 100 yards, more than 100 yards of offense on like 5 touches.
Yeah.
He was doing really well. Quantarion Brooks was also having a great game. He got banged up. So, they were not at full bore after about the first quarter and a half. And, Jarius Rice had his coming out game, 5 touchdowns, more than 200 yards on, I believe, 16 carries.
That sounds right.
Just an unreal comeback. And, they were the Blue Devils were hopeful of getting a first-round playoff game at home. With the 7-2 record, but their playoff points were just garbage because they didn't get anything out of Allman. They got nothing out of East Moline. They got nothing out of Galesburg, and
Nothing out of Alton.
nothing out of Alton. Correct. That was the fourth one.
Yeah.
They got like maybe 4 playoff points between all 4 of those teams.
Brutal.
That's why in the I don't know. I mean,
And
they
you can't
played
do
Alton
anything.
forever.
A couple of them are
You
conference schools, so you can't do anything about that.
No, you got 7 you're locked into, and I don't know what they can do in the non-conference. They played Alton forever,
Yeah.
and now if they can fit QND in there, they can fit. They're going to try to continue. to play
I don't know who you can. I don't know who you go look for.
Well, you
to
bounce
swap
Alton
out
and try
Alton.
to get somebody that's actually going to win a couple games.
Yeah.
But Alton's a good game for them, though. I
There's
think.
been years. But there's been years when Alton's got them 4 or 5.
Correct.
So this just happens. It was a bad year for Alton.
They were not so good.
No, they weren't. Okay, so Chatham Glenwood is almost a mirror image of Quincy. Loves to throw the ball. Through 8 games, their quarterback, Knudsen, had 1,600 yards passing, I think 20 touchdowns. Here's the interesting stat. So their 2 losses are to the 2 big dogs in the Central State 8.
Rochester and SHG. Right?
Correct. The other 7 games, they didn't score less than 42 points. They had a 70-point game in there. They had a 65-point game in there. They put up some points.
And I worry about the Blue Devils defense for the simple fact that Rock Island wasn't necessarily a team that threw the football, and their quarterback had over 200 yards.
Yeah,
their defense got burned a few times. Their secondary, I don't know. Quincy High's defense has been kind of a question mark at times this year.
It has. Mostly against the run.
Correct.
So, I think Chatham Glenwood runs the ball efficiently, but they're made to pass. Their offense is set up to throw the ball. So I don't think like they're going to exploit Quincy's run defense, but Quincy better be sound defensively against the pass. They better get some pressure on Knutson. They better lock down on the receivers. Stapleton is one of them, Miles Stapleton, and Tyjon. Oh, I forget his last name.
Does anybody care about his last name? His first name's Tyjon.
Tyzon.
I mean,
is how
come
it's
on.
spelled.
I mean, that's
I knew you would love that.
I mean, that's all you're gonna. That's all you need to know him as, Tyjon.
And he's their kick returner too.
So this is a next level opponent for Quincy High.
Yes.
I mean, this is a cream of the crop. I mean, they've really. Okay, I'm going to say that they only really saw one of those during the regular season. Moline.
Sterling was pretty good.
Yeah, but they're not.
They're not the Sterling they've been in the past.
Correct. I think Moline was the best team they played.
Oh, no question.
And they got the ball run down their throat. Of course, Moline didn't pass, and this is a different team. So,
right.
It's a different thing. And obviously, Quincy High School, 9 weeks in, they're a different team than they were in that week 3 or 4, whatever it was.
Right.
They played Moline.
Yep.
So, I think somebody's asked me this week. I said, "What do you think? They got a chance?" I said, "I think they have a puncher's chance."
I think they got a legit chance.
Yeah, I think they've got. They can't turn the ball over.
No, but they throw the ball efficiently. I mean, Braden Little. We've talked a lot about him and his ability to find receivers, and he's got weapons. Gregory Quince is a great weapon. Jack Medemeyer, Caden Johannesson. I mean, so Jarius Rice out of the backfield does a great job of catching the ball. I mean, he's got weapons to go to.
He does, and he's a very. I mean, I don't know this Cladden kid, but I'd be surprised if he's better than Braden Little. I don't, Braden Little.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Regardless of class, and as far as drop back pro style quarterbacks go, if that's how they rank them now.
That's a good way of putting it.
He's got to be one of the best in the state, regardless of your classification.
I would agree. So I think Quincy has got a good chance, and then we'll see if they get a home game out of it. Because
they would be home second week regardless. Well, unless
there's nobody at home regardless. Well, yeah, they would be because they'd be the higher seed.
They'd be
yeah. Because if 16 upsets one,
yes, then
9
gets to host.
9 gets to host.
So if they win, they get to come back home.
Yes,
and possibly play the number 1 team in the
bracket. Yeah,
nice. That's a nice carrot.
Yeah, but you know what? Bring them on.
Yeah,
bring on whoever it is because you got to play them.
So you got both your Quincy schools,
and then we got 2 Adams County schools and 1 Brown County school. In the smaller, so Central's 9-0. They're at home against Dupo on Saturday. Unity Payson in Class 2A goes to Knoxville, and then Brown County in 1A goes to Tuscola.
Out of those 3, obviously, you're going to say that Central's the most
Central's
going to
bury Dupo.
Okay. Have you told Norm Stewart this yet? I mean, Norm Sanders this yet?
No, I have not, but I will remind him. I told
Norm Stewart either. He's alive, too, so I guess you can tell him. But Normie and our boys from the 618 High School Huddle are Dupo guys as well.
Yeah, they're gonna get buried on Saturday.
Okay, so Dupo's done.
Central is the best defensive team numbers-wise in the Class 1A bracket. Pretty good.
What about the 2 road teams? Either or have a chance to move on?
I think Unity Payson's got a really good chance. Brown County's going to have its hands full with Tuscola, and it has before. This will be the 4th time in the last 9 years, I believe it is, that they will have faced Tuscola in the playoffs. The Cola Wars are never fun because they've had to play Arcola before too. So, I think the Hornets got in the playoffs. They won week 9 handily, but it's been a struggle for them because they're young, especially up front. And I think that's going to show in the playoffs.
And are they the kind of team that's beaten the teams they should have beaten and haven't quite gotten over the hump
Correct.
to beat the teams they should maybe not beat?
Right. They've struggled against good teams.
Yes.
They've beaten teams that are mediocre.
Unity smoked Brown County earlier this year. Unity a better team than them?
Unity's pretty good. Like I think going into this season, there was this fear that it was going to be Brian Deeker and no one else for them. Mm-hmm. And Brian Deeker's very good. Great linebacker. Really good running back. But Ryle Duke's been really good at quarterback. They've done a nice job of moving the ball around, so they're not relying on one guy. And I think they do a nice job of mixing the pass and the run. And that goes back to a senior quarterback who understands the offense in Ryle Duke, and knows how to get the ball to guys. You know, Cody Schaefer's a really good weapon on the outside. So I think Unity Payson could go up to Knoxville and win.
So we have one game Friday night. That's it.
One game Friday night.
And the other 4 on Quincy Heiser only Friday night game.
Correct.
And then the other 4 play on Saturday.
Correct.
3 afternoons and one nightcap.
Yep. So 2 1 o'clock starts, a 2 o'clock start at Central, and then a 7 o'clock kick in Macomb.
And the Muddy River Sports Cavalcade of Stars will be out.
We will. We'll have. You'll be out.
I'll be out.
Bobby Goo will be out. Bobby Goff.
Wow, James Robert Goff is going out.
So he will be picking up and covering a game for us.
You got David Adam help us out Friday night.
Correct. And then I got a couple stringers helping us out in a couple other places. So
full coverage here at.
We will provide as much coverage as we possibly can.
What are you doing during all this?
Well, it's up in the air right now, to be honest with you. As we sit here and tape this, as we record our podcast, I'm getting ready to leave as soon as we're done here and head to Chillicothe.
Yes.
For the Notre Dame boys soccer team's super sectional.
So that's
matchup.
why we're not breaking down any state soccer.
Right.
We don't know they're going to be there.
Because we don't know if they're going to be there. If they're there, then I'll be in East Peoria this weekend.
I did find it interesting that all 8 schools that were in the super sectional were non-boundaried.
I was wondering who was going to bring that up first.
And I think there are only, and again, I don't know who's non-boundary and who's not, but I think there are only 3 or 4 that made sectional finals that were quote-unquote community schools.
That was brought to my attention, and the question was, who's going to be the first person to bring that up?
Was it me?
It was you.
Yay, DOB.
We kind of knew it was going to come from somebody. Like somebody was going to notice it. What's that?
Has this happened before? To have all 8?
I don't think so.
Non-boundaried?
I don't think so.
So this is basically the 1A is the private school playoffs.
It really is, right? This year, yes.
And I mean it. But is that right for the small schools that are trying to make their way in the world?
There'll be people that complain about it, and there's going to be people who try to make it go away and try to change the rules so that private schools either have their own classification or make it hard move up in classification or all those things. I don't know what the right answer is. I really don't. You know, I've heard both sides of both arguments in so many different ways, shapes, and forms. I don't know what the right thing is. So just let them play.
Yeah,
let kids play.
You have is the success factor still around in the IHSA? So is Notre Dame subjecting itself to success factor? If they go on and win the strap.
No, because it's a 2-year, and I may be wrong in this.
Because they only made the sectional final last year.
Correct.
So they would still stay at 1A next year.
Yes.
Now if they go title,
then they get bumped up.
They move on up to a deluxe department. Kind of like the girls basketball team could be moved. I mean, this year there's
a success factor, but it only applies to private schools. And I know that's a big a point of contention as well. Of why doesn't it apply? You know, if you're not going to apply it to everyone, just get rid of it.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know what the right answer is as far as making everyone happy with the private public debate. My thing is, here's your enrollment. Your 400 and whatever Notre Dame's enrollment is, 400 and some kids. Mm-hmm. That's classification you play in.
Yeah.
That's your enrollment.
That'd make it easy.
Pretty simple to me.
Or the other people will say, well, just have a private school level and just go to all the private schools in the same boat.
Yeah. And no, they're an Illinois high school.
Do you think that'll ever happen?
No.
I would assume there's a majority of non-boundary schools that are in the IHSA. Couldn't they just get together and say, you know what?
They could vote them out.
Yeah, we're going to.
They could. I don't think that'll happen.
Very interesting.
So
anyway, there you go. All the private schools are playing in 1A.
Yep, there you go. So we'll know more about soccer as the week goes on, and that could be where I'm at this weekend.
So you're going to be maybe not East Side.
No, not East Side. East Peoria.
Center.
East Side Center. Yes, that's where the state soccer finals are this year. And
well, you've been on record since we had our very first edition of the Muddy River Breakdown that they're going to hoist a title.
I think they still could.
You think on Saturday afternoon or evening or whatever they have?
5 o'clock start for the championship game in East Peoria on Saturday.
About 7 o'clock on Saturday. They're all.
I'm sticking to it. I like the way they're playing.
I would tell you what, they've been, I mean, again, this might be moot by the time, this gets on the internet,
Right.
but they've been scoring goals in just bunches.
It's been impressive. It's been really impressive.
Leo Kane on a heater.
4 hat tricks in 4 postseason games. That's not bad.
Because everybody probably focuses on Tanner Anderson for good reason.
Yeah, and
here's this kid
and they
coming out
have
of
and they
nowhere
have
and-
other weapons. I mean, that's the focus on Tanner all you want because they got other guys that'll score.
Fun times. Good for them.
Yeah, and then
them.
the college basketball around here gets started this weekend
I'm going to go watch the college basketball
You
game
are.
Friday night.
at the U of I.
I'm going to Assembly Hall, not State Farm Center,
It's Assembly Hall.
to check out a little QU Hawks against the Illini.
Number 23, ranked
They're
Illini.
number 23.
Yes.
So basically, the Prodigy's a huge Illini fan.
Right.
And of course, I'm a big fan of Steve Hawkins. So we're like, hey, let's go on over there.
Might as
A little
well.
Papa Del's pregame. I know where to eat over in Champaign.
I know you do. You've steered me in the right direction over there.
Oh heck yeah! I don't know if the Custard Cup is still open though at this late in the season.
That's a great
Probably
question.
probably still is.
It's still October.
Maybe we could do a Papa Del's Custard Cup combo, and then catch little hoops at the Assembly Hall.
Sounds like a good deal.
Man over here or something. Sorry.
It's because we have plants in our office now, so now we're gonna have bugs.
Yeah, I saw the Hawks in their little Saturday scrimmage.
Yeah.
I like some of their younger players.
I do
But
too.
again, it's so you're like, oh my, that kid could really be good in a couple years. You don't know if he's going to be here.
No idea. No idea. And we don't know who's going to develop and who's not. Right now, I think there's a good base there to have success. How many wins is that? I don't have a clue right now. We haven't seen them play against anybody but themselves. So we'll start to get a better look. I mean, they're not going to go over to Illinois and beat Illinois. They're not.
Hey, we beat SIUE last year in a scrimmage game.
Okay, that was SIUE, which is terrible.
That's the Ohio Valley Conference, pal. That's one of the top
Again,
mid-major
again.
conferences in Division I AA. I mean, Division I.
Terrible. Terrible.
Eastern picked, I believe, 9th out of 10, only ahead of Lindenwood in that
Yeah, see?
in the OVC this year.
And where's SIU? 8th? Probably.
Probably.
You
so.
know, it just not good.
But so for the Hawks, I like the transfer from Wofford, Zion, whose name
Yes.
escapes me. He kind of turned it on at times on Saturday. I can see a lot of Coakley's going to be probably one of he and Zion are going to be their probably their best 2 players. I see a lot of no.
Paul Zelinskis.
Oh yeah, he'll be decent. too.
Zelinskis and Zion are the 2 guys right now. If you had to go, who's going to start a game and who's going to finish the game?
Z&Z Music Factory.
Yes, that's who you go with.
You've also got I like Isaiah Foster,
I do too.
the freshman point guard. I think again that's one you look like, oh man, he's good. I mean he's got.
I
potential.
like Orlando Thomas.
Yeah, they've got some guys. They had some redhead kid that was hitting threes and dunking the other
Garrett
day.
Green.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean, again, it's a scrimmage game against their own guys. So
I believe
you
when
don't
they
know.
signed Garrett last year,
He redshirted.
he redshirted, but Mike Reynolds, the former Galesburg coach who's now at DeKalb,
Yes.
reached out and said, "This kid's going to be good."
No, he showed some flashes the other day. And
So-
you don't know who's gonna play. You don't know who's gonna do.
No, I mean, again, we'll have a better grasp of who can play and who might contribute after Friday night.
But
but
they have Illinois, and then they go to Northwestern
Correct.
in a span of just a couple days, right?
Correct. Early Tuesday, right? They go to Northwestern.
I think so. I think that's right.
It's Tuesday or Wednesday of next week.
And then they is their first game at home against HLG, or do they play on the road somewhere?
No, on the
before
road. November 11th, that weekend.
Okay, they're on the
is
road.
the
The
GMAC GLVC crossover, and so they go to Cedarville, Ohio. They'll play Findlay and Cedarville, and then their home openers against HLG,
that? The traditional.
lid lifter.
But the traditional opening for college basketball in the area is still your Cincinnati Reds, like either Culver at HLG or HLG at Culver.
Correct.
That is happening. I think the first or the second.
I think it's
first or second.
Yeah,
The second. I think it's a
second. I
Tuesday
think it's
night.
Wednesday night.
Oh, it's a Wednesday night, on the third. Okay.
No,
So,
Wednesday night's the second because Halloween's on Monday.
that's correct. That's correct. So,
Because volleyball sectionals are next week, and volleyball sectionals and super sectionals at the high school level are Monday, Wednesday, Friday next week.
you've got it all figured out.
That's because I'm mapping my road. The shuck truck gets gassed up and hits the road again.
Anybody college basketball? I mean, obviously we watched John Wood play a couple weeks ago at their.
They're going to be really good.
They've Brad Hoyd to tell you they got a long way to go, but they got a long way to get there too.
They do, but he'll have them ready. I mean, they always do.
And it's hard to tell anything because he played everybody that day.
Exactly, and those were scrimmages. Those were pickup games, basically. Mm-hmm. So we'll find out more here in the coming weeks of where they stand. You know, if they go into Christmas with a losing record,
that's okay.
That's okay because that's what he kind of wants. Mm-hmm. I mean, he wants them to get punched in the face a little bit that first part of the season, learn from it, and it works. His scheduling strategy works because look at it. They're either at the national tournament or playing for the region title every single year. Mm-hmm. It works.
Without a doubt.
So I'm looking forward to it. Hoop season's going to be a lot of fun.
No doubt. I got my Quincy High School basketball season tickets. I even got a parking pass this year I was smart enough to get.
I've got to make sure my parents have their tickets.
You got to make sure they're ready to go.
That's right. They will be.
Did they go into any games last year?
Yeah. Dad did. Mom hasn't gone.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll go to some this year.
He sits in the same spot.
Since 1961, those tickets have been in the family.
That's crazy. They've had season tickets for 6 years.
My grandparents bought.
And you're not even close to having the longest tenure.
My grandparents bought those 3 seats in 1961.
Wow.
Yep.
I wonder who is the longest what family has the longest standing Blue Devil tickets?
It's a great question. We can ask Dick Winter. He probably knows.
Yes.
Might be him. I mean, I know he's worked the scores table, but he's had tickets as well.
Crazy.
So
they love hoops here.
Well, we'll be talking more hoops here in the coming weeks.
I love that.
But thanks for breaking down the football playoffs.
No problem. Volleyball. What volleyball teams are we getting through?
We'll get
who's going to be live next week?
Quincy Notre Dame,
yes.
Macomb will both be alive in 2A.
They'll eventually play one another.
Yep. Unity and Southeastern will still be alive in 1A. And I think there's an outside chance Quincy High is still alive in 4A.
I was looking at Normal Community last night after the game, and they are not world beaters. Normal Community, though, has a carrot of trying to go back home.
Right, because the Normal Community is the host of the Class 4A sectional. But
volleyball here is going to be good in the next couple of years. Quincy High's got a lot of good young players, and so does Notre Dame.
And I've seen Quincy High a few times this year, and they do. They have a good young base with Summers, Douglas, Grieving.
They got this loose girl that
came up from
the JV team. They're going to be they're going to be good.
Yes, I agree.
But last time Quincy High won you read my story. Yeah. Mine. So 2010.
2010 was the last time they won a regional.
That's crazy that it's been that long.
Class 4A.
The 4A split, the fourth class split hasn't done Quincy High School any favors when it comes to their trophies case.
Because usually they're sent south.
Yep.
And they run into a buzzsaw. But we'll see. We'll see what happens Thursday night.
All right. Well, enjoy your travels.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks for breaking it down. And enjoy your trip to Champaign.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
That'll be a good time.
That'll be fun. I think the warrants have all cleared.
Good. Well, we'll talk more about that next week.
All right.
This has been the Muddy River Breakdown with Chuck Daddy and DOB. Join us again next week.
Muddy River Sports. Our home, our sports.